save diligently yet still feel poor and anxious? The problem isn't your effort, it's the advice. The wealthy know a secret you were never taught. The path to true wealth involves saving less to live better. This counterintuitive idea is the key to feeling secure, free, and in control. In this video, I'll show you why this shocking truth works and how it can finally end your financial worries. Prepare to unlearn everything you thought you knew about saving. The false mindset about saving. After the age of 35, a heavy weight begins to settle on many of us. The kids are growing up, healthcare costs are rising, and retirement feels like a ship lost in the fog. So what do? We turn to the one strategy that feels safe. We save. We cut every expense to the bone. We say no to dinners out, delay vacations, and feel a pang of guilt over any purchase that isn't absolutely essential. Society praises this. It calls it responsible. But what if this responsible choice is silently building a prison around you? What if the path to financial security is actually a trap that costs you everything that truly matters? This mindset of extreme frugality wasn't born in our generation. It was passed down from our grandparents, who survived wars and recessions where every saved dollar was a lifeline. But in today's world, this survival tactic has become a dangerous trap. Why? Because when you focus only on saving money, you start spending something far more valuable: your life. This is the hook that catches so many. We think being frugal is smart, but it can lead to a life paralyzed by anxiety. You become afraid to spend money even on things that could change your future. Here's a painful question. Have you ever passed on a training course because it felt too expensive? That course might have been the key to a better job, a higher salary, or a new opportunity. By focusing only on saving, you risk standing still while the world moves forward. You're not saving money. You're costing yourself potential. But the price gets even higher. This constant self-denial creates what psychologists call emotional poverty. You're not actually broke, but you feel broke all the time. You say no to a coffee with a friend, a weekend trip with family, or a small gift that would bring you genuine joy. You are severing the emotional lifelines that nourish your happiness. And this slowly corrodes your most valuable assets. It erodes your confidence, your mental health, and your relationships. Think about it. Years from now, no one will remember the money you saved in 2024, but they will remember that you missed your mother's birthday party. They will remember the family trip you declined because it cost too much. And one day, you'll be left with a devastating question. How much money did I protect, and how many precious memories did I lose in the process? One study of Americans over 40 found something shocking. As their net worth grew, so did their anxiety. They had the money, but they were trapped by a fear of spending it. That fear held them back from enjoying life and seizing new opportunities. Let's be clear, saving isn't wrong, but saving should never be the ultimate goal. Money is a tool, not a destination. Its purpose is to build a life, not to be hoarded in a vault of fear. Yes, you can save a few $100s a month, but if the cost is your joy, your health, and your peace of mind, then the price you're paying is far too high. Because in the end, true wealth isn't your bank balance. It's the health you preserve, the relationships you nurture, and the peace of mind you wake up with every single day.
The principle of the wealthy: using money as a tool. While many people are still struggling to hold on to every dollar at all costs, discreetly wealthy individuals take a very different approach. They don't treat money as something to hoard. They treat it as a tool that, when used wisely, improves quality of life, builds a better future, and most importantly, maintains mental freedom without sacrificing the present. And this is the core distinction that sets them apart. The wealthy don't obsess over saving every last cent. They don't shy away from spending. They learn to spend with purpose. They don't try to avoid using money, but instead choose to invest in things that help them live better every single day: education, health, technology, skills, and most importantly, relationships, both personal and social. These expenses may seem unnecessary on the surface, but they generate far greater value over time. For example, rather than skipping learning just because they're over 40, they willingly pay for a digital skills course, a modern financial mindset program, or a leadership development workshop. Instead of postponing annual checkups, they invest in health monitoring devices or quality medical care. And when it comes to technology, they don't spend to keep up with trends. They spend because they understand that the right tools can help them optimize time, improve efficiency, and protect their mental clarity in the chaos of modern life. They even do something that seems almost extravagant. They invest in relationships. They spend both time and money to stay connected, create meaningful experiences with family, friends, business partners, and their community. They know that lasting success doesn't just come from a bank balance. It comes from the ecosystem of positive relationships they cultivate daily. By using money as an investment tool instead of saving obsessively, the wealthy not only feel freer in the present, they expand their financial capacity for the future. These investments help them grow personally, stay adaptable, and stay ahead of new opportunities. The result? They earn more efficiently, bounce back from disruptions more easily, and rarely find themselves caught off guard by financial risk. But the biggest difference is mental. While many people live in a constant state of anxiety about spending incorrectly, the wealthy feel in control of their cash flow. They don't let money control their emotions. Instead, they let their emotions guide meaningful spending. They don't feel guilty for paying for a memorable vacation, a high-quality dinner, or a thoughtful gift for a loved one, because they understand that these aren't wastes, they're investments in happiness, connection, and quality of life. And interestingly enough, this very way of using money brings longer-lasting peace of mind than trying to save everything. Because they know. A healthy body allows them to perform better. A positive mindset helps them make wiser decisions. A strong relationship will carry them through a crisis. And a mindset ready to invest in the future will keep them ahead, not behind. Studies show that people who consistently use their money to invest in life quality tend to live longer, experience fewer illnesses, and feel more fulfilled, regardless of their net worth. It's not just about physical health, it also improves their sex life, mental well-being, and career satisfaction. This isn't a coincidence. When you live in a state of nourishment, emotionally, intellectually, and environmentally, you naturally create more value. You don't have to overexert yourself to make money because you're in a state that attracts opportunity, connects with the right people, and sees solutions where others only see problems. That is the deeper power of using money as a tool. It gives you a solid foundation for success without forcing you to trade away your soul. And now you may be wondering, how do I start spending wisely without feeling guilty? How do I know what counts as an investment and what's just waste? This is something discreetly wealthy people learn early on. They create personal principles for how they use money. They keep a clear list. I'm willing to spend on things that upgrade my skills, nourish my emotions, and protect my health, but I refuse to spend on anything that distracts me, drains my time, or disrupts my peace of mind. This clarity makes everyday decisions easier. They don't second-guess purchasing tech that saves them hours of work. They don't hesitate to enroll in a course that boosts their soft skills. They don't feel conflicted spending on a family activity that builds connection. Because to them, wealth isn't about keeping as much money as possible. It's about using it at the right time and in the right place to live more fully. So how do you spend money without guilt? I'll share that right after a surprisingly simple example you can apply today.
Real-life example. Spend less, gain more. In today's volatile economy, with rising inflation and mounting financial pressure, many Americans over 40 are grappling with a difficult question. How can we maintain our current quality of life while still securing our future? The common answer is save as much as possible, cut all unnecessary expenses, live lean, sacrifice today for a safe tomorrow. But some families have chosen a different path, not reckless spending, but also not suffocating austerity. Instead of chasing extreme frugality, they choose smart spending, investing in areas that bring long-term value, physically, mentally, and financially. Take, for example, a typical middle-class family living in the suburbs. Both parents work full-time. Their income is stable, but not extravagant. Rather than slashing every expense and funneling all their leftover income into a savings account, they embraced a different strategy. Invest in quality of life. They started with small but meaningful changes. Instead of buying cheap, heavily processed food, they switched to organic, nutritious options. The cost was higher at first, but within months, their health noticeably improved. They got sick less often, had more daily energy, and their overall mindset was more positive. Healthcare costs dropped, sick days decreased, and workplace productivity increased. They didn't stop there. They invested in smart health tech, heart rate monitors, sleep trackers, calorie and fitness apps. These tools gave them deeper insights into their physical condition and helped them adjust habits for a healthier lifestyle. Instead of waiting for illness to strike, they took control of their well-being early on, a choice that brought peace of mind and significantly cut future medical bills. Another priority? Education and self-development.
Both spouses set aside an annual budget for online courses, from leadership skills to new technologies, applied psychology, and personal finance. They didn't wait until their jobs became obsolete to learn. They studied to stay ahead, to embrace change, and to stay agile in today's fast-moving labor market. Their children, too, were encouraged to engage with educational technology early on, not just to do better in school, but to build critical thinking, creativity, and confidence in communication. Self-growth wasn't some distant ideal. It became part of their family culture. The results weren't immediate, but after just 1 year, the benefits became clear. The family stayed healthier, worked more efficiently, and their children thrived without needing expensive tutors. Their household mood improved. No more stress-fueled arguments about money, no more guilt when spending on meaningful experiences. They spent less on meaningless things, but gained far more in true value: sustainable health, family happiness, personal growth, and long-term financial stability. Most importantly, they no longer viewed money with guilt or anxiety. Every expense was carefully considered, not based on saving at all costs, but based on one simple principle. Does this spending improve our quality of life? Will it help us be healthier, happier, more connected, and more resilient? This is the mindset of those who use money as a tool, not a trophy to hoard. They understand saving is wise, but strategic investing is smarter. They know that not every expense is wasteful. Some are doors to new opportunities, better peace of mind, and a brighter future. And the best part? You don't need a high income to follow this path. What you need is a new mindset, one that sees farther ahead, evaluates true value, and knows what truly matters. Sometimes spending just $50 on a quality meal, a great book, or a meaningful family conversation brings far greater returns than putting it into a zero-interest savings account. This isn't just true for a handful of exceptional families. It's becoming a quiet shift among America's middle class. Strategic spending to enhance life quality, rather than pouring everything into savings. As the world continues to change and retirement no longer guarantees comfort, those who invest in their present are the ones who will truly control their future. And you might be surprised to learn what the single highest return investment really is, the one most people still overlook.
Smart spending strategy. For years, you've been following the rules. You skip the morning coffee. You cut out every non-essential. You build your budget around one single command: spend less. But let me ask you a question. After all that sacrifice, do you actually feel wealthy? Or do you just feel tired, stressed, disconnected from the joy of living? This is the hidden crisis of traditional financial advice. It teaches you to save money, but it forgets to teach you how to live. What if the entire approach is wrong? What if the secret to financial freedom isn't about austerity, but about optimization? Successful people are no longer asking, where can I cut back? They're asking a more powerful question. Where should I invest to live a better, healthier, and more fulfilling life? This isn't about reckless spending. It's about building your budget around 5 core priorities: your health, your happiness, your relationships, your personal growth, and your mindset. When you spend money on these things, it's no longer a guilty expense. It's an investment in your own quality of life. Think about it. Investing $200 in a course that boosts your skills isn't a cost. It's a direct path to a higher income. Spending money on healthy food isn't an indulgence. It's a strategy to avoid massive medical bills down the road. This is the hook that changes everything. You stop seeing money as something to be hoarded in fear and start seeing it as a tool to build a life you actually love. But how you start? How do you know what's a good expense versus a bad one? The answer is a simple but profound tool that will become your new financial compass. It's called your Wealth Standards List. This isn't a list of how much money you want. It's a list of 5 specific things that make you feel truly wealthy right here, right now, even if your bank account doesn't change. For example, your list might look like this. I have the energy to take a 20-minute walk every day. Or I get to eat breakfast with my family 3 times a week. Suddenly, your spending decisions become crystal clear. Does buying this gadget help you feel more connected to your family? No? Then it's not a priority. Does paying for a gym membership give you the energy for that daily walk? Yes? Then it's not an expense, it's an investment in your personal wealth. This list frees you from guilt. It ends the endless cycle of earn, spend, worry. It reminds you that true wealth isn't about having the most, it's about living in alignment with what matters most to you. So tonight, I want you to take 10 minutes. Grab a notebook. Write down 5 things that make you feel like you're truly living.
That is your wealth standards list. And the next time you spend money, just ask, does this get me closer to my list? This simple shift will transform your relationship with money forever. Because money isn't the destination, it's the tool to build a life that feels wealthy every single day. If this video offered you a new way to see money, hit like and subscribe so you won't miss weekly insights that are practical and genuinely inspiring. Because in midlife, what we need isn't just a bigger bank account, it's a life that's rich in health, joy, peace, and connection. Remember, wealth doesn't come from clutching every dollar. It comes from using money in ways that reflect your deepest values, to live smarter, deeper, and more meaningfully every day. Start today, not with a big investment, but with a small shift in thinking. And if this message resonated with you, share this video with a friend, because one small action can spark a powerful ripple of inspiration.